Hey everybody, it's Colleen, and today I'm going to be bringing you the Halsey Book Tag. I believe that this tag was originally created by Lady Knights Reads, and it just goes through a playlist of some of her favorite Halsey songs and books inspired by them. So let's just jump right in with Castle, your favorite queen. Hold Me Down, a book or series that you just can't seem to give up no matter how hard you try. We've all been there. I generally don't have much of an issue, like, kind of sticking to my guns when I don't like a book or a series, but one series I keep on returning to, though I wish I didn't, is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I absolutely adored the first two books of the series, and I make no secret of the massive amounts of, like, solar eclipse shade I throw at Allegiant. But yeah, I hate Allegiant so much, and I wish that I could just, like, go a couple of months without rereading a passage or two of Divergent or Insurgent. But so far it's been a year or so, and that hasn't happened, so you win, Veronica Roth. I love your series. I just resent you like hell for Allegiant. But seriously, some of that book one stuff in here is just the cutest thing ever, and I can't not smile when I read about her ziplining for the first time. AMERICANA, the fictional friend group that you would want to be part of your Fight the Apocalypse squad. Easily the Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan, so like the Chosen Seven plus Nico and Reyna. I mean, half of them have already been through saving the world once. They've already faced the apocalypse like twice now as of the end of this series. And just, like, how much fun would that be anyway? Like, to just be a part of their group. I mean, it'd be heart-wrenching, you'd see some loved ones die, I mean, you'd probably get some psychological trauma, but, oh, like, just the fun and the puns and Percy and Annabeth, and it'd be fun and we'd win. Drive, a couple that needs to communicate better. Anna and Etienne. I know that, like, second and third book, we see them as this really high-functioning couple, and they're super healthy. Spoiler if you haven't read the series, but it's been years now, so jump on that train. But the first book, every single one of their problems could have been solved if they had just sat down and been honest with each other for 5 minutes. I mean, everything could have been talked out, and in real life, normal people would have, like, hashed their shit out in, like, a couple of days, and there would have been some awkwardness, but that's how adults talk to each other. And in this, it was just, like, unnecessarily drawn out, and it was adorable and wonderful, and I loved it, but it was also really frustrating. I really hate the miscommunication trope in YA literature. It's just, Hurricane, your favorite standalone. And that will forever be Fangirl by Rainbow Roll. It just hits every mark for me, and I will never get over it. Roman Holiday, the cutest contemporary couple. Now, this is not my all-time favorite couple, but just the one that I'm currently, like, low-key obsessing over, and that would be Kate and Andy from The Wrong Side of Right. Like, they didn't even get that many big scenes together or anything, but, like, the couple that they got were just so painfully sweet and really well written, and so much of their dynamic is a part of them, like, being across the country from each other, or just being unable to see each other in public because of, like, paparazzi or their parents. So much of it is just, like, they don't get to actually physically see each other, so they have to rely on phone calls and texting, and just, like, being each other's friends for a while, when, like, their own, like, main storylines are happening. I mean, their romance is, like, such a subplot in this book, but they just get to be there for each other. So when he does get the chance to, like, see her in person and just, like, flirt with her mercilessly, and she just melts because she's human, and Andy is adorable and wonderful, and just, oh my god, they're just the cutest thing, and they're so funny. I love their banter. Ghost, most tragic breakup. And that is just a whole can of worms, and you asked the questions, so here you go. Spoilers for the Rebel Belle trilogy, as well as the Infernal Devices trilogy, you've been warned. 3 main breakups come to mind, and the first one is more just, like, me being really frustrated and petty about this one, and that is David and Harper in Miss Mayhem by Rachel Hawkins. Who says I love you for the first time in the frickin' breakup letter? Like, what the hell, David? It didn't make sense for him to leave. It doesn't make sense for her not to go after him. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore, and I'm just really angry. Nothing about that breakup made sense, and it hurt like hell, and I cried a little bit. The second is between Will and Tessa in Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, and it's not really a breakup, it's more like a rejection, where Will finds out that he is actually curse-free, and he is free to pursue Tessa, and he goes to profess his love to her, and she's been in love with him this whole time but didn't know it, and he's been too afraid to really embrace his love for her, and it's so perfect, and he's just, like, on his knees, I love you, and it's what we've been waiting for. And she drops the bomb that she is engaged to Jem. And there's this scene where he just immediately falls back into this chair and he closes his eyes and he covers his mouth and he's just like, please don't tell him that I love you. And he just chooses their happiness over his own, and Cassandra Clare, why? And finally, it is Jem's death in Clockwork Princess between Jem, Tessa, and I'm including Will because they're Parabati. And just the scene when he dies and they all feel that connection sever and we all just died along with him a little bit. It just broke my heart. I haven't met anyone who said that they didn't, like, sob their eyes out when they were reading this part of the book. Colors, one of your favorite characters that hurts you a lot because they make terrible decisions. Triss Pryor from Insurgent. I love this girl, but she has some issues. She picks way more fights than she actually really needs to get into. She lies a lot, and I'm also counting lies of omission. She's very manipulative, and she just creates a lot of trouble that doesn't need to be there. Even though I understand it's like extenuating circumstances and I don't know what I'd do in her shoes, but I still really love this girl, and I think that she is a great person, like a very good, inherently good person. But she just causes so much unnecessary shit. Strangelove, a character that a lot of people just don't get, but you like. Clytemnestra from the Oresteia. Now, it's very easy to paint her as a villain, and that is a valid interpretation. But I think that you're looking at her too narrowly if you strictly say that she is a villain, because if you examine the day-to-day bullshit that she is asked to deal with, just knowing the background of, like, the Iliad, and then reading this, you need to ask yourself, what would you be willing to put up with, and what would you be able to do about it in this ancient Greek society? Coming down, best sexy time scene. That would be Kath and Levi's first kiss in Fangirl, and it's not even a sexy scene exactly. Like, they don't have sex. And I'm not a prude by any means, but just their first kiss made me blush so hard. I felt dizzy reading it. It was unbelievably just sweet because we had all of this build up suddenly. Like the entire scene leading up to it, not just the whole book, but of them like sitting close to each other and they're falling asleep on each other as she's reading him this whole book. And it's just, you feel the sexual tension and then they're about to fall asleep and he just kisses her and it's just the best thing, because then it goes from like really sweet and you're just like gasping and just, oh my god, it's finally happening, and then it gets hot. Like someone just lit a match and it gets really hot. And then it moves on with the plot and everything, but just, that's one of the sexiest kisses I've ever read. Haunting, a book or character that you're still thinking about. Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. There is just so much going on in this book that there is always something to think about, whether you're going to look at it from an intellectual standpoint where you're examining its commentaries on social class, gender norms, race, sexuality, first love, or if you just want to get on the, like, if you just want to, like, flail on the feels train with me, I mean, that's cool too, but there's always something to think about or to discuss with this book, and I'm still struggling to process everything I'm thinking and feeling about it. Gasoline, your favorite self-destructive character. Will Herondale. He hurts me so. Control, best villain. Ms. Dolores Umbridge. She is so well written, and she's such an easily accessible villain, too. Like, we all, unfortunately, know someone like her, whether they be a parent, teacher, boss, what have you. Whereas Voldemort is more... he's more like an abstract concept of evil for children. But then as you go through the books, he becomes more, like, physically tangible and archetypal. But we know that we shouldn't like him, and we know that he's evil. Like, we know on an intellectual level, and we see him do bad things. But Umbridge makes us hate her, and I still get my blood boiling, like, thinking about her sometimes. Because she is just such, like, an everyday kind of evil and unapologetic and is not self-aware. Young God, characters that secretly worship each other. Annabeth Chase and Percy Jackson, and it is Olympus's worst-kept secret. Walk the Line, best retelling or reworking of a story. Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. I really liked Romeo and Juliet because of how cringeworthy their characters were and just that whole play as a whole. And I loved the updated post-apocalyptic twist that this book offered. And as soon as I realized, like, the trick with their names, like R and Julie, I got, like, it got twice as good because, I mean, just literary allusions make me so happy. Is There Somewhere? An OTP with obstacles. Easily Amy and Roger. These two have literally an entire country of obstacles to get through. Plus, I mean, Amy's survivor's guilt coupled with Roger's recent breakup is really screwing them both up emotionally. So that doesn't exactly lighten their workload to work through to get together in the end. Empty Gold, an OTP that became a no TP. Lane and Sadie from Extraordinary Means. I thought that their setup was interesting and that their off-camera history was well executed and believable, and just the way that they went about like the whole exposition with this wasn't clunky and it didn't like drag and there was no like overbearing mystery about what happened between them. It was just very believable and I liked it. I smiled a lot at their narrations and I liked both of their characters a lot up until they started dating. Then they turned into these unbelievably just pseudo-intellectual hipsters in love, and everything they said and did read like a middle school fanfic, and then just I liked them better as friends looking into the face of death, but as a relationship, they were just not to my taste. Trouble. A toxic relationship you ship even though you know better. America and Maxon. I don't want to go so far as to call their ship toxic per se, but all of the half-truths and guilt trips and the like physical and emotional cheating, just that, and the stunt with Chris and Maxon, and just not an inspirational start to a marriage, guys. Okay, that's all I've got for you guys today. That was a lot of fun. I really love Halsey as an artist. I only really got into her about like last summer, I want to say, and she's just like she's a go-to person that I want to listen to when I'm like driving or in the shower or something. The girl is talented and I love her. Anyway, I am going to be doing something soon, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!